Um, now, you've done completing the square. It can be a nuisance. So some guy a long time ago, several hundred years ago, sat down and did the following problem. He took a problem, a quadratic equation, he called it 8x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A, B, and C are numbers, including the sign. The x's are not included. So, he took this equation and he completed the square. And when he completed the square, he came up with the fact that x was equal to a negative b plus and minus, you need to know this formula, times the square root of b squared plus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? Now, continue, boy. Okay. Now, the formula's over there. It's also in your book in section 6. 295 or something like that. Now, here's what you do with the quadratic. This is called the quadratic formula over there. And it allows us to find an answer for x without completing the square. And once you learn how to do it, it's way easier than completing the square. Here's what we do. 1. Here's what I want you to do to start with. First, write down A, B, and C on the side someplace. What is A?
3.
A is 3. What is B? Negative 5. And what is C? 2. That's all you're doing here. So you got these in place. After you do 5 or 10 of them, I don't care if you do this anymore, but just for the start, it will help you make sure you sort out the numbers correctly. Always include the sign. Always make sure, before you can do this, you must have 0 on the right side. Okay? Everything has to be on the left side, 0's on the right side. It must be in descending order. Okay? If it's not, then the numbers are going to get messed up. All right, here's all we do. We're going to plug these numbers in this formula and work it out. So, what is x equal to? X is equal to a negative b. Now listen to me. It's easier if you don't call it negative b. It's easier if you call it the opposite of b. A negative b and the opposite of b are the same thing. But if I say negative b, people get confused. What's the opposite of a negative 5? Nobody gets the opposite of b wrong. But they get it wrong when they go a negative b. Because they got negative 5, and they get confused about what to do where. So I always say the opposite of b. What's the opposite of b? 5. That's what goes there. Plus and minus the square root of what's inside? B squared.
25.
Take b and square it. And it's 25. Okay, I'm showing you how I do the problem. I square b. I use this to help me. I take b, there it is. I square it, write it down. Then I put down negative 4, parenthesis. What comes after negative 4? AC. What is AC? 6. I modified these together, but I put the 4 there over 2a. What's 2a?
6.
2 times a, 2 times 3 is 6. And I plugged all the numbers in. You have to memorize the formula, but if you actually do 5 or 10 of these with numbers, you'll have the formula memorized. You honestly don't have to memorize the formula. You just have to use the formula a few times, and you'll remember the formula. It really is not a problem. Now, we're not done. We're going to simplify this. So what I do now, at this point, that's pretty simple. That's pretty simple. I go in here. 25. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. And 25 minus 24 is 1, and it's the square root of 1. So now I rewrite the problem. I'm not ready to actually write stuff down. What do I have? 5 plus and minus
Square root of 1, 6.
1, not the square root of 1. What's this? What is the square root of 1, people?
1.
It's 1. You can take the square root of 1, it's 1. Right? So it's 1 all over 6. So I'm not done, because I think those are all numbers. I can do this. What does this tell me to do? 5 plus 1. 6 divided by 6. I get an answer of 1. Then it's 5 minus 1.
4 divided by 6.
4 divided by 6
That's your answer.
is 2/3. And there's my answer. Okay?
You always have to
Yes.
What if you had a negative 5 to be squared?
I'm squaring it. When I square a negative, I get a positive. A negative, this is a negative 5, right? If I square it, it's negative 5 times negative 5. So what happens is, this is always a positive. It can't be a negative. It's either a positive, which is a positive when I square it, or it's a negative. When I square that, it's still a positive. So it won't ever.
How did you get the 1? By subtracting
25 minus 24.
It goes for anything,
Yeah, you just do what this says.
and then you put it in the...
And then you take the square root. I'm going to do another one.
We're always going to get to a...
Wait,
Excuse me.
I just have a question for the end.
Are we always going to have two answers?
I want quiet, please. 4x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Okay, what do we get? A is 4, B is negative 5, and C is negative 6. I want to do one more, because the last one was an unusual one. What's first? What's the opposite of 5? Negative 5. 5. Plus and minus. The square root of b squared. Minus 4 times a times c. Negative 24. Over 2a. And now I go up here and work this. This is 25. What's a negative times a negative? Positive. So I just cross them out. They're positive, so this is a positive. And 4 times 24 is
96.
96. Add these together. I get 1.
31.
You can't be serious.
1. 31. 34.
Square root of 121. Okay? Now, this is really 123. Don't argue with me.
Really?
Yeah, it's 123.
Is that actually added up to it?
No.
Are you... Wait,
Oh, you were off the
I don't want a perfect square, and 121 is another perfect square. I don't want a perfect square.
I'm gonna get confused now, sir.
Excuse me.
Sorry. Sorry.
Just, this adds up to 123, okay? Accept the fact that it's correct even though it's not. Don't worry about it.
You can make it work.
Okay? Because I don't want that answer. That's it's a, I want one. Stop. Stop. If it's the square root of a perfect number, you need to take the square root and keep going, okay? I want to show you one that's not a perfect square. And I can't believe I made up 2 problems in a row that came out to be perfect square. So that's,
You're a genius, you know that's why.
if I wanted them, I guarantee I couldn't do it in 10 problems. I couldn't get a perfect square.
Want to bet?
All right, so what's my answer? 5 plus and minus the square root of 123 all over 8, and I'm done. No decimals. No decimals. This is not a perfect square. We stop right here. One more problem. Not one more. What happens if this is? Listen. What happens if this is a negative? What happens if this is? What happens if this is a negative? You put an I. all the time.
And that's the answer.
And so they have those. Page 297,
Oh, my leg.
297, 1 through 32, the odd.